He was in a coma, severely injured. The doctors had little hope that he would survive. His wife, desperate, was preparing for the worst. But what she didn't know was that the truth about her life, about their marriage, was about to be revealed in a way she never imagined. What no one knew, not even her, was that Daniel was listening to everything. Everything. Emma was saying to the doctor, everything she thought he couldn't hear. "I know he's not going to make it, doctor. It's just a matter of time. I just hope the life insurance is enough to secure my future." With these words, Emma opened the door to a secret that would change everything. And the most shocking part, Daniel was listening and wondering, how could the woman he loved be so cold and calculating? Before the accident, Daniel and Emma seemed like the perfect couple. They had a comfortable life, a beautiful home, and a stable relationship, or at least that's what Daniel thought. But in recent years, Emma had started to pull away. What once seemed like a solid marriage was slowly falling apart. She wanted more money, more status, more freedom. Daniel, a dedicated and hardworking man, never really knew what Emma was going through. He thought he was doing everything right, providing her with the best lifestyle he could, but she felt increasingly unsatisfied. In the months leading up to the accident, Emma started becoming more distant, showing an obsessive interest in their finances, their properties, the future of their money. Daniel, distracted with work, never noticed what was happening. The accident happened on an ordinary night after a long day at work. Daniel was heading home when his car was hit by another vehicle. The impact was brutal, and he was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. He was in a coma for days, and the doctors had little hope of his recovery. While he lay there, between life and death, Emma was in the room, by his side, talking to the doctor, already starting to come to terms with the possibility of his death. But, despite his critical condition, Daniel was awake. His mind was alert, and he was listening to everything. Every word from Emma, every calculation. He overheard her conversation with the doctor about the life insurance. He heard how she was more concerned about their financial future than him. "I know he's not going to make it, doctor. If he dies, the life insurance will guarantee me a good life. The only thing that really matters now is what happens after. He never knew, but I've always been the one taking care of the finances in this house. Now, I'll make sure everything's under control." The coldness in Emma's words was like a knife to Daniel's chest. He was hearing everything, and couldn't believe that the woman he loved was so indifferent to him, treating his death as just a transaction. After weeks in a coma, Daniel finally woke up. What happened next left Emma speechless. She walked into the hospital room, thinking he was still weak and vulnerable, waiting for the right moment to make another one of her manipulations. When she walked into the room and saw Daniel's eyes open, the shock was overwhelming. Daniel looked at her, his eyes filled with pain, and said in a hoarse voice, "I heard everything, Emma." The surprise took over Emma. She didn't know how to react. You were awake," she stammered, trying to hide the panic that was creeping in. What Emma didn't know was that, despite his critical condition, Daniel was far from the vulnerable man she thought he was. During the days in a coma, he had time to reflect and realize everything. He knew about her coldness, her emotional betrayal. And what Emma didn't know was that he had already done something far more powerful than any physical revenge. As his health started to stabilize, Daniel began using his recovery as a weapon. He knew that their financial situation had been complicated by the secrets Emma had kept hidden, but he also knew how to deliver a devastating blow. When Emma thought she was about to get what she wanted, with Daniel's life insurance, she was surprised by an unexpected visit from a lawyer. Daniel, finally well enough to make decisions, had changed his will. He had left all his life insurance and assets to a charity that he and Emma had supported together in the past. She was speechless. You did this," Emma whispered, the disbelief clear in her eyes. Daniel, with a slight smile, replied, "I did. You never loved me, Emma. I never cared that much about what you wanted. Now, you'll learn to live without what you think you deserve." And that's how Emma lost everything. The woman who cared more about riches and life insurance than the life of her husband was left with nothing. Daniel not only recovered physically, but he won the battle of truth. He didn't let her selfishness destroy what he truly valued. his peace, and his dignity. This story teaches us that, often, revenge doesn't need to be violent. Sometimes, the greatest revenge is simply showing that, even in the worst moments, you have control over your life and your destiny. And you, what would you do if you were in Daniel's shoes? Would you confront the person who betrayed you, or would you give them a lesson in humility? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you were shocked by this story, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that touch the heart. Don't miss the next video, where we reveal how family secrets can destroy lives.